It looks increasingly likely more stimulus for the UK economy is on the way, with Chancellor of the Exchequer George Osborne outlining plans to purchase corporate bonds. So now attention turns to the Bank of England's meeting on Thursday. In this exclusive double-header, I'm joined by both Azad Zangana, who is the European Chief Economist at Schroders Asset Management Company, and Simon Kirby from the National Institute of Economic and Social Research. If I can start with you, Azad, what can we expect from Friday's meeting?
Well, I think it's going to be a very finely balanced decision from the Monetary Policy Committee this week. We think there's about a 50% probability that they will restart their quantitative easing program. Today we had some new data on the UK economy, which showed that the economy had actually grown slightly slower than expected for the second quarter, and indeed also for the first quarter. But we also had some more important data going further back, which showed that actually the recession that we experienced through 2008-2009 was deeper than expected. And I think that they will take this into account and react by, at some stage, restarting their quantitative easing program, whether it's this month or what we think is more likely to be by next month. I think it's just a matter of time. If we do see more QE, surely that will increase inflationary pressures, and there are serious questions about whether it will even work. Well, we're quite sceptical that it does actually lead to economic growth in terms of the real economy. What we've seen is a lot of the money being pumped into the financial system and not finding its way into increased lending for the household sector or indeed the corporate sector either. This is why George Osborne is now talking about credit easing as a new mechanism that they can use. So I think maybe even the Treasury is becoming a little bit sceptical about the impact of quantitative easing. So taking everything into account, how would you assess the UK's economy? We're still growing positively. We're still getting positive growth coming through. We have seen a slowdown in the leading indicators in the last few months, but the latest Purchasing Managers Indices, which we've received over the last 3 days, have all actually risen, and risen by more than expected compared to consensus economics estimate. So that suggests that we're not heading into a free-fall recession, as some more negative commentators out there are currently suggesting. I think that we are bumping along the bottom, if you like. There are a number of headwinds facing the UK economy. One, and probably the most important one at the moment, is the need for the household sector to deleverage and reduce the debt levels that they're currently holding. And at the same time, of course, we've just mentioned the Eurozone debt crisis. That is a very substantial risk to not only the UK economy, but the global economy as a whole. And for that reason, companies appear to be postponing investment decisions, which of course are then having an impact on smaller companies and for employment prospects for the labour market. Thanks for joining me, Azad, and I'm now delighted to welcome Simon Kirby. Simon, if we do see some announcements of stimulus, how do you think it will actually manifest itself?
Well, what the Treasury is talking about, what George Osborne was talking about at the moment with regards to this credit easing, is actually directly intervening in credit markets in the form of actually directly purchasing corporate bonds, and in particular the emphasis was on trying to help small and medium-sized enterprises that are struggling to raise finance, which is what some of the surveys do suggest. And so there's effectively discussion of some securitization of small business debt that the Treasury would take onto its books. So further increase in the government's balance sheet. With regards to, obviously issuing more gilts in order to actually fund directly the corporate sector in the UK. Now, in terms of when that will happen, we don't know. In terms of scale, we don't know. And it might not be that we actually get that much information more beyond some more stronger signs about exactly where they're going to be operating. But it might. But these are the sorts of, this issue is going to be fleshed out over the coming months, certainly.
With the Eurozone still in a state of turmoil, do you think more stimulus will actually work when such a key partner is struggling?
I think it certainly will do. I mean, if you look at what's happening at the moment in the UK, if you just simply look at things like corporate spreads over gilts, then those spreads have started to widen quite significantly. So there clearly is some pricing issue with regards to corporate funding. Now, But you are right to also pick up on the fact of, yes, we can stimulate those sides of things, but in the UK, actually, the problem is lack of demand, and the major given that we have such a weak domestic economy, we know the UK economy is going through an adjustment process for both the private and public sector. The fact that our major export market, the Eurozone, is in such crisis does mean that, unfortunately, we can only expect very weak growth, if any at all, in the UK over the coming months.
Well, thanks to both of our guests. We've got more top quality interviews to come here on Dukes Copy TV later in the week, but for now, goodbye.